Kenya Airways has launched a trafficking in persons policy to raise awareness among its staff, the public and other travel sector stakeholders and combat human trafficking by air. The country's national carrier has declared zero tolerance to trafficking in persons in its global air operations. According to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, hundreds of people are being trafficked by air across the globe regularly. CGTN's Daniel Arap reports.
Please have a seat.
Okay.
This is Fauza Wanjiru, who is a resident of the Kenyan capital, Nairobi. Wanjiru says she was trafficked to the Middle East by air in 2010. Like many other women, she was recruited by a friend who had promised her a well-paying job as a receptionist in the Middle East. Little did she know that she was going to be asked to work as a maid.
She took me to an agent where the agent told me, you're going to Qatar for the same job as a receptionist. When I traveled, I ended up finding myself in Qatar at the first. Then I was told I was on transit, so I had to travel to Saudi Arabia. So for me, it was very shocking because it wasn't something that I was expecting it to be.
Years of built friendship and trust ended in just the few hours it took her to fly to the Middle East.
I felt lied to. I felt like, why didn't she even tell me the truth of whatever I'm going to do?
The 2022 UN Global Report on Trafficking in Persons says the Eastern Africa region is one of those where people remain vulnerable to traffickers.
Trafficking in persons continues to exist, and the numbers have been increasing. Why in the cases that the governments were able to investigate for various reasons have decreased. We are at the moment where we need to strengthen all the efforts.
They have constantly sought to find loopholes in our immigration and transport system to enable the transportation of the victims.
According to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, the number of detected victims in 2022 fell to 11% for the first time in 20 years. In sub-Saharan Africa, lower institutional capacity due to COVID-19 restrictions saw a reduction of 12% in victim detection. Kenya Airways' new policy is expected to serve as a checklist to inform at-risk travelers about potential exploitation, especially in the Eastern Africa region.
Eastern Africa has in recent years become a new hub for trafficking routes, with criminal groups and illicit traffickers operating effectively across borders by trafficking their victims through the air.
Kenya has been described as a country of origin, transit and destination of trafficked persons. Major forms of trafficking in the country are sex and labor exploitation. According to the government, there is an emerging trend of Kenyans being trafficked for criminal activities like cyber crime.
The onset of the internet and the advances in technology are making it difficult to apprehend those involved in trafficking in persons. Traffickers are reportedly using the cover of the web to recruit their victims, advance their services, and transport the proceeds of their crimes.
Daniel Arap, CGTN, Nairobi, Kenya.